I'm just going to tell you right now, it's not good stuff. Know, be aware, so that we can go about fixing it. So as you're watching this, I want you to understand that it is extremely serious. We need to act on it immediately. We're going to figure out how to fix it. Okay, great. Let's go.
And so I talked a lot about this, right? And how did I even get to know about this? Well, if some of you heard my story, you'll know that at some point of my career, I was recruited. They thought I would be a good person on their side. I was recruited to business owners meetings in Metro Atlanta, as well as scientific meetings where I got to meet Dr. Craig Venter, okay? And so in these meetings, they talked about this whole transhumanist movement and how it was great. We would be the controllers in the room. Don't worry, we would be exempt. Everybody else would be controlled. I was horrified. I was horrified to see everybody standing ovation and clapping for this. Like, who are they? And I asked, how could you be for this? They said, oh, well, it does sound a little bad, but you know what, Carrie, soon it's going to be us or them. And so we have to, you're going to want to be on our side. You don't want to be on the other side. It's going to be bad. I said, I would never do that. And you're a fool. You're a fool to think that this technology wouldn't be turned back on you, because we are human beings, right? And they have a supercomputer that wants to guide all of this. A computer doesn't care who you are. It has an algorithm. You have a dollar sign in your head. It's not like the Marines, all for one, one for all. A computer sees it as foolish, it's frivolous, right? So I had all this knowledge. That's how I got to know how to research for it. But I was still not happy. I'm a person I have to know, right? So I decided I'm going to look inside of these vials. Even though it's not legal, I don't care, because if something goes against my God-given rights and my human rights, it is my duty to break that law.
That says so in the Bible. That is the word of God.
This is our world, our planet, our children, our bodies.
A Republican form
Don't give it away.
government.
It's ours, right?
That's what protects us.
So this is one of the pictures of Moderna. I put 2 drops on a glass slide. I had a compound microscope. That's it, guys. You could get it easily, $300. And I had a white light going up on the middle and a glass top on the very top. And that's it. I waited 2 hours. And it was translucent at first, and all of a sudden, colors appeared. Vibrant purples, blues, reds, greens. I'm like, I've never seen this chemical reaction. There was no chemical reaction, right? So I ended up finding out all these colors, actually, when they appear under a white light, that's a sign of a superconducting material inside these injections. All the manufacturers have that. What that means?
Is that nanotech?
It's proof they are putting an injectable computing system inside every single one of these vials. An injectable computing system. Did they say anything to any of us? No.
Harvard?
There's little cubes on this one. I'm just showing some of these photos. Here's another one. It's hard to see on this photo, but at the very edge, it's a cube-like structure. We're not quite sure exactly what that is right now. So also I saw a lot of metallic flex fragments. I didn't see anything about metal fragments on the ingredient list again. And these metallic fragments to me look a little more exotic. It's not like your typical aluminum, etc., right? This one is strange. It's so opaque, it leaves its own shadow. I'd have, some of these pictures are between 100 times magnification, which is nothing, to 400 up to 600 times magnification. This is not nanotechnology. I mean, this is not looking at nanotechnology. Right. This is on a much grander scale. This is crazy.
We don't know what's inside of that.
So this picture kind of has been going around, I think. I'm going to give you a close-up of him. This was on the first slide I did, and there's the cover slip, right? So everything gravitated to the very edges of the cover slip. That's where I saw a lot of action. There was a lot of aggregation. There was self-assembling. This is 2 hours. It's not like 12 hours. 2 hours time. I also saw this thing. I was shocked. It actually was able to lift itself up off of the glass slide. You can't see it? Okay. It was able to lift itself up off of the glass slide. It tentacles like you see here. It was able to move. It was my opinion, this is my interpretation, that it was self-aware. I've never encountered anything like that. I've done slides, I've done all kinds of preparation of slides of biologic materials, etc. Never have I witnessed anything like that.
Looks like it's moving.
And so I did cry. I cried. And then I thought, well, okay, perhaps that was a fluke. Surely, maybe some contamination, right? So 2 months later, I get another Moderna vial, and I look at it under the microscope, and what is that? Still trying to figure it out, guys. But we shouldn't have unidentified objects inside of these injections. These string-like material, I'm like looking at, this almost looks like some kind of a living organism. And then I see another one. And then I cried hard. You may not know what that means. I do. These are parasites that are made to meld with your nervous tissue.
Parasites.
Imagine a child that's forming their neural network. I want you to feel what I feel. I want you to get that righteous anger. We need it now. No more.
Okay, let's just take a quick break from it, right? Hold on. Okay, so I got my Tootsie soak in here and some bentonite clay and warm water. I'm going to let my feet soak for 20 minutes and then we're going to analyze whatever we find in the water. I should mention that my feet started tingling almost instantly. It got really, really intense. I wanted to, it was tickling so much. I wanted to scratch my feet. There was some sort of reaction obviously going on. So I am curious to see what we might find. Yeah, of course I have a microscope. Of course I have a microscope. What kind of nerd would I be if I didn't have a microscope? Come on, guys. Give me a break.
There are dozens of these robots being sucked up into a syringe. Now, if that wasn't scary enough, researchers from MIT are developing microscopic robots light enough to float in the air. I won't go into too much detail about these as I didn't find very much material, but their aim is to put microscopic electronic circuits onto tiny colloid particles which are light enough to float suspended in liquid or even air. Their aim is to have the robots carry out diagnostics from the human digestive system and bloodstream to oil and gas pipelines, and even waft through the air to measure compounds inside a chemical processor or refinery. These robots are about the size of a human egg cell and don't need any external power sources or even batteries. Their circuits would receive all the power they need from a photodiode. The last robots we're going to look at are created by researchers out of the University of California at San Diego. They're tiny ultrasound-powered nanorobots designed to swim through the bloodstream and remove bacteria and toxins. Using gold nanowires coated with a hybrid of platelet and red blood cell membranes, these nanorobots are capable of performing two different tasks simultaneously. The hybrid cell membrane coating allows the nanorobots to function as platelets, which bind pathogens like mRNA bacteria, and to function as red blood cells, which absorb and neutralize the toxins produced by these bacteria. The gold nanowire responds to the ultrasound, giving the robots the ability to swim. At less than 2 microns in length, these are the smallest robots on this list. At the time the article was written in 2018, researchers had yet to try them on live animals, and it's not clear if there were any significant advancements since then.
Okay, so yeah, tried to clean the microscope as best I could. And then I'm just analyzing a droplet here. Let's see if I can get you in there. I have to be nice and steady.
Fluid, as you might imagine. And then all of a sudden, this colorful blue, colorful purple, colorful green, bright yellow appeared, and more voluminous as time went on. And I never saw that before. There wasn't a chemical reaction. No human tissue was added. And then I was told by some genetic and nanotech engineers that would be analogous to a superconducting material. So in other words, an injectable computing system. And then when white light hits it from the microscope, then it would make the electronic components appear. And so I saw Morgellon-like fibers, graphene-like material, and saw what was most concerning that everybody was talking about. The very first time I was looking at Moderna was this tentacle-like spider, scorpion-looking creature. And it was, alive, whatever you call alive. And it was at the edge of the cover slip, so it was able to come up off the glass slide. So it lifted itself up off the glass slide. And it was in 3D, suspended in space. And one of its little tentacles actually moved, so it was alive. And it was actually pointed, over time, pointed its tentacle up through the lens, to the lens, where's my eyepiece. So I was with a colleague, and we both said to each other, well, we feel like it was self-aware, like it knew we were looking at it. So I'm laughing now, but at the time I was not laughing. And it was very upsetting. And so I thought, well, maybe this is a fluke. And so another batch, and 2 months later, of the same Moderna, looked at it again. Same thing was there. Same thing under the cover slip. And so the Stu Peters show was really good because when I showed these things, there were several people that contacted Stu and myself saying, this looks like this creature or this creature. And one of them was called Hydra vulgaris. Have you heard of that? Anybody?
Oh,
I didn't either.
sounds like vulgar water to me.
So it's one of the 6 model organisms. And it's the 6 model organisms because it's one of the keys that these people in human genomics and transhumanism really love. And the thing with this one is that it's immortal. It doesn't die. It continually recreates its stem cells. Get this. It also can regenerate innumerable times. It can regenerate so well that if they put it in a blender, blend it up, then take all the pieces and put it back in a petri dish, it reassembles itself, but miniaturized.
Oh my God.
Yeah, oh my God is right. So I was reading this, and who was really looking into it is UC Davis in California. And so I brought up their webpage. They work with the NIH of the Hydra 2.0, taking on that human 2.0, title. And in it saying how they thought it was wonderful to use this in the evolvement of humanity. Oh my gosh. So when this UC Davis is looking into it, you have to look up on their website. Please, everybody look it up. At the bottom of the website describing this Hydra vulgaris, they have, you can click on this. Now, this is a biology department. Click on this, and it is their Hydra playing card. They have 131 playing cards. Now, this is not a study card, a playing card. And at the bottom of the playing card, it says, Hail Hydra. Have you ever heard of Hail Hydra before? Anybody out there? I didn't until I had somebody tell me, that's from one of the Marvel characters, this evil Nazi group, get this, that was able to get an organism to be injected inside of a person that would take over its brain and be connected to an AI program. Was that predictive programming or what? You can't make this stuff up. This is a bona fide college program with their Department of Biology listing this. So also there, and I haven't had time to research, I just found this out last night. Also there's mRNA, a lot of studies done with this particular organism, and the nanobots all together with gold nanoparticles. So this is definitely a key. So this was a very favorable thing about going on the Stu Peters show, because I was kind of stumped. I'm like, what is this thing? I can't figure it out. And so when a lot of the viewers sent this information, that was quite helpful and at least disturbing, to say the least, yes, but at least it was helpful into understanding a little bit more what might be injected into people.
Right. Now, what about the parasite polypodium?
Yes, that's another one it could be as well. That's still a Hydra-like organism, to my understanding. Now, this is a new field for me. I'm learning. So forgive me if I get something wrong here. But I can tell you, when they described the Hydra vulgaris, at least, they described it as a stalk that had an adhesive glue on its base where it could stick. And what I saw in the first time when this one was alive, it did have this adhesive base, and it was able to put itself up, wave in the air. And it doesn't have a brain, they said, but it has a neural network. And that's interesting. They say neural network, and it can still interact, right, like a brain. Because that reminded me of what Elon Musk said he would like his Neuralink project to do, is to make a neural network in the brain. And he said this is going to happen very quickly. Already has that. It has the potential of doing that. And it's the potential of miniaturizing itself or expanding itself too. It's pretty.
And remember that Neuralink, that comes from the Immortal screenplay, which was stolen and turned into The Matrix.
Crazy. So when I was looking at it under the microscope, it also said the tentacles have the ability to put a stinging, paralyzing agent in their little tentacles. It's just, I don't know, that's all I know.
Obey God's law first. And remember, we have authority. We walk with Christ and with the Holy Spirit.